33 and 7/8. Great Northern Nakusa 39 and 3/4. Harnessfager 16. RT&E at 8. Stay Right at 9 and 1/8. Twin Disc at 17 and 1/8. In financial today, the First Wisconsin went out at 31 and 7/8. Price of gold in both New York, Chicago, as well as London, pretty much the same today. First off in London on the second fix. Gold went out at $503 an ounce. That's down $1.50. Later day dealings, New York, Chicago, gold is out at $504. So actually, the market derives its strength from the volume today. That improved to a little under 44 million, make that 44.5 million shares. A bright spot, the transportation average. The Dow is up only 0.87. And on balance, it's a higher day than the Dow would lead you to believe. That was today in a nutshell. And we'll take a look at tomorrow's market as it opens at 8:15. We'll review today's happenings and take a look and see what might happen 24 hours hence. That's it for the day. And speaking from the home office of Blunt, Ellison, Lowy, this is stock market reporter Herb Miller.
Right now, till February 28th, you can buy the Amana Touchmatic 2 radar range and get a $50 rebate. Plus, you get the Amana Radar Range's exclusive RotoWave cooking system. But remember, February 28th is the last day to buy the Amana Touchmatic 2 radar range to get a $50 rebate. So see your participating Amana dealer today. You'll be cooking better the Amana way. Plus, you'll be getting $50 back.
At J&J Appliance, 77th and Burleigh, and Novak Appliance, 3440 Douglas Avenue, or 4201 Durant Avenue in Racine. The news coming up next.
The Friends of the Wisconsin Conservatory of Music are selling Tiffany coins at their 10th annual concert bowl on March 7th. Available through Tiffany & Company, the coins are in $25, $100, and $1,000 denominations. Each coin is redeemable for merchandise at Tiffany stores in Chicago and New York, and a sizable portion of the coin sales will benefit the Conservatory Scholarship Fund. To order your coins or for more information, call me, John Davis, at 276-4350.
This is WTMJ Radio, Milwaukee.
George Webb's Breakfast Special. French toast and eggs, $1.49 at George Webb's. Governor Dreyfus said today he's willing to send in the National Guard to man Milwaukee fire stations if firemen here go on strike. 40 degrees at WTMJ. I'm Don Parcher. The current contract runs out Saturday night. WTMJ's Tom Lujak says money is the main stumbling block.
The issue is an old one, parity. Milwaukee firemen want to be paid the same as police are. Now a starting fireman makes about $1,000 a year less than a new police officer. The firemen say that's just not fair because their occupation is as dangerous as police work. Until now, the city of Milwaukee has resisted the firemen's demands, though. Even a strike 7 years ago failed to give the firemen what they want. This year may be different. Aldermen are convinced that the firemen are serious about walking out, and it could be a long, bitter strike. While neither side wants to talk about the negotiations, WTMJ has learned that tomorrow the city is going to offer the firemen gradual parity. That is, assuring the firemen over the next 2 years they will gradually get the kind of increases that will bring them up to the same scale as police. The firemen themselves will meet Friday and Saturday to take a strike authorization vote. If negotiations break down, it is possible the firemen may be out of the firehouses and on the picket lines at Saturday midnight. Tom Lujak, WTMJ News.
Governor Dreyfus' plan for school property tax relief drew a large crowd to Madison and the state capitol building for a rally in support of the plan today. Most people came from rural areas around the state. Representative Robert Travis headed the rally.
Basic premise behind our proposal is this. Property tax relief should go to property tax payers.
Representative Travis also encouraged the crowds to testify this afternoon before the Joint Finance Committee. WTMJ News Time, 6:02.
Been a part of Milwaukee since 1863. Deaconess Hospital opened its doors nearby in 1910. As Milwaukee grew, so did the hospitals. Today, Deaconess and Lutheran are united, their resources and skills combined, working together to serve the health care needs of the city they grew up with. Deaconess and Lutheran, two great hospitals, now one great medical center. Good Samaritan Medical Center.
To help get America and the economy rolling, Chevrolet and participating Chevrolet dealers announce a $500 cash bonus to retail customers on 1981 Citation and Chevette. A $700 bonus on Camaro and Monte Carlo. Big cash bonuses to use toward your down payment. Or get a check directly from Chevrolet. $500 to $700 bonuses at participating Chevrolet dealers now. But hurry, you must take delivery between now and March 19th.
If federal figures are correct, somebody in the state unemployment office counted wrong. The feds say 8.7% of the Wisconsin workforce is jobless. But Industry, Labor, and Human Relations Secretary Joseph Knoll says they're wrong, that unemployment is not nearly that bad in Wisconsin. And Knoll says the longer the current recession continues in the state, the percentage of people on unemployment compensation will slowly climb, and eventually benefits will dry up.
It's been gradually rising on 3% rate, I think, and it will continue to rise unless we see a reversal in employment in Wisconsin. And each succeeding month after this, we will see more and more of them exhausting.
January figures show a slight decline in the state's seasonally adjusted jobless rate from 6.7% to 6.6. Figures for the city of Milwaukee are fairly consistent with the state, about 6.7%. General Motors says it will shut down the Janesville assembly plant car assembly line for a week beginning on Monday, March 9th. Plant spokesman Phil Gottschalk talked with WTMJ's Mike Terry.
This would be for the same reason as our week down last week, and that would be for inventory adjustment in the field.
Letting the car sales catch up with what you've got on the lots?
Yes, that's correct.
How many people would that idle?
Approximately 3,900 for that week, Mike.
Gottschalk says the one-week shutdown does not affect the truck assembly line at the Janesville plant. Arthur Silverman, director of Milwaukee County Social Services, confirmed today he will retire in October, 6 months ahead of the time he will reach the mandatory retirement age of 70. County Executive O'Donnell had asked institutions director Samuel Smith to secure Silverman's retirement. Silverman has been under fire for allowing a huge backlog of cases to pile up last year. Silverman says today that was not his fault.
I think that with the information that we had available, we acted as well as we could have acted. There is no walking backwards over time. And although people may look back and say this should have been done or that should have been done, it could not have occurred any differently than it did occur.
Silverman's background is in social work. O'Donnell says the next welfare director will be a hard-nosed businessman. Water inspectors were busy today trying to determine if drinking water is safe in the village of Saukville. EPA is testing the village wells because a nearby industrial well was found to have contaminants which might seep through the ground into the village water supply. So far, the wells have been free of contaminants. Village Administrator Michael Harrigan tells how long the tests will last.
Well, today's sampling will be completed, of course. Today, the samples themselves will be taken down to Chicago, and the turnaround time is usually about 2 to 2.5 weeks.
And after that, Harrigan says, regular testing will occur 4 times a year. A delegation from 5 states, among them Wisconsin, is scheduled to meet with U.S. Secretary of Transportation Drew Lewis late today. They'll ask for $49 million in federal money to help the Milwaukee Road stay in service from the Twin Cities to Miles City, Montana. Milwaukee Road spokesman Bill Bickley says the group has to get the money by April 15th.
Trustee Ogilvie has said that he would grant this coalition of shippers and the states and the local users the additional time that they were seeking to put together a package that would guarantee service on the line. He had originally said that he would report to the court on February 17th as to whether the railroad would be able to maintain operations out there.
The Federal Rail Administration says that it only has $65 million altogether targeted for rail rehabilitation. And a spokesman said it would be incredible for the Milwaukee Road to get $49 million out of the $65 million total available. Greenfield awarded its cable TV franchise to Viacom last night when Mayor Francis Havey cast a tie-breaking vote to make it 3-2 for the firm. Alderman Warren Olson said an amendment to Greenfield's cable ordinance requiring Viacom to provide a room for a youth center at the cable studios was suspect, and he insisted that Mayor Havey and others who voted for Viacom resign. Says Mayor Havey,
those charges are asking people to resign. On what basis? He hasn't offered one single ground that would constitute a basis any place for anybody resigning. I'm going to resign because I try to get the best possible benefit for my community, for my youth and my senior citizens. Hey, I'm giving a 15-year contract out to a firm that's going to make a lot of money. It seems right to me that the city ought to be able to have some benefit from the awarding of that contract.
Greenfield Mayor Francis Davey. A jury in White Plains, New York, has convicted Gene Harris of killing Scarsdale Diet Dr. Herman Klarnauer last March. The conviction is for second-degree murder, the charge sought by the prosecution. President Reagan says he is most interested in a summit meeting with Soviet President Leonid Brezhnev, but Reagan says he would not attend a summit without first consulting America's allies. Poland's Communist Party boss, Stanislaw Kania, has asked Moscow for time to solve Poland's labor crisis, but Kania assured the Kremlin that the Warsaw regime is strong enough to defeat what he called the counter-revolution. In Spain, an attempted right-wing coup has failed. The military ringleaders of the uprising surrendered today and released the Spanish political leaders who were held hostage for 17 hours in Parliament. The Italian police say 6 gunmen opened fire on 4 Arabs at Rome's airport today. One of the Arabs was critically wounded. The other 3 suffered less serious wounds. President Reagan has signed an executive order to carry